Hi, I'm Franklin Hickey, 41 years old, Vice President, Chief Nursing Officer at East Orange General Hospital, and I live in Rahway, New Jersey. Welcome to my kitchen. My kitchen is the one place where I feel creative, passionate, and enjoy the thing I love most, which is food. Food keeps me going. My kitchen, let me tell you, let me give you a quick story. My kitchen is the one place, as you see my dog is on the floor rolling around. Get a picture of my dog. He's rolling around because he knows my passion for food and he's as excited as I am. Food for me is the one time that I get to actually relax. I have a very stressful, high-powered healthcare executive job. My job requires me on a daily basis to focus on the quality and the needs of so many other people, whether they be the nursing staff, the medical staff, and the patient. So when I come home, my kitchen provides me a quiet sanctuary where I can be creative, disconnect, disengage from the world, and actually focus on the one thing that gives me comfort, and that is food. Tonight, while you're in my kitchen, we're going to be making smothered pork chops. All right? I've already started the roux for my gravy. And my roux is basically some flour and some oil that I cooked in. As you can see, I've gotten that nice chocolate color. It slowly came to that. What I'm going to begin to do now is I'm going to start adding in some onions. The first thing I have to do is keep onions chopped up. When I was growing up, and this people always ask me, what made you cook? Why cook? What about cooking that you enjoy? How do you relax by cooking? Cooking usually is very stressful. It gets me stressed out. This is what usually people say to me. It doesn't happen like that for me. For me, it's the one time that I can come home, get away from the world, be creative, and connect back to my roots. When I grew up, I was raised with my grandma, and my grandmother worked two jobs, and she was a very busy lady trying to maintain a home and trying to take care of family. And she did not like takeout, nor did she like frozen meals or anything of that. So what she would do is the night before, she would actually prep her food, and she would have it all ready. So when I would come home, all I had to do was take it, put it on the stove, and finish it. And her big thing to me was, do not, and I repeat, do not burn my pot real quick, because food is too expensive. We ain't got a whole lot of money to be burning no food. And in them days, they called it grocery. They really didn't say food, this is grocery. So I got my onions chopped up. My onions are now going into my roux. So let them begin to saute down until they become translucent. All right? And once they become a little translucent, we're going to start adding some chicken broth in and let this thicken up. This probably takes about 2 to 3 minutes. But anyway, back to my family and my mom. So when I grew up, as I said earlier, my mom was very big on home-cooked meals, and she always prepped her meals the day before. And I was the one responsible to come home and make sure the meals were completed. As I got older, by the time I was 13, 14 years old, I was cooking a whole meal on my own. And that was a very big deal for me, because it was a time that I felt like I could really connect to my mom and spend time with her and really get to understand my family history. Because when I grew up, on Sundays was a time when the whole family came together for Sunday dinner. And I would say nowadays, that's really a lost art. You really don't see families getting together on Sunday after church, the minister coming to the house, and everybody sitting around, just eating, fellowship, and having a good time. But like I said, when I grew up, that was a very big deal. And one of the things I want to really do if I win Master Chef, no, not if, when I win Master Chef, is hopefully bring that art of Sunday dinner back to the family, bring everybody back to the table. But I enjoyed cooking with my mom because it was a time for us to connect, it was a time for us to bond, it was a time for me to learn my history. My mom grew up in the Jim Crow era in the South, in the 30s and the 40s, and she could always give me stories and tips and encouragement and words of wisdom about how she grew up and how she overcame so many different things. Now here we go back to the roux. Enough talking. Let's get ready to the food. Now we're going to add in the chicken broth. Okay? We're going to let this begin to come up to a boil. You're going to see this thicken up. And once that thickens up and we have a nice gravy, we're going to then put the pork chops in. And we're going to let those pork chops begin to soak up all that gravy. But as I was saying, prior to me putting the chicken broth in, My mom loved to tell her stories, and around the food was one of the times we shared stories. It's amazing. My family, how many stories food has. You know, food in my family, the stories go back to when my mom was a little kid and her grandparents were slaves, children of slaves, and the stories that they had and they would share and how they came about cooking and came up with various types of meals. And these meals have been passed down to us for generations. You know, this meal that I'm making right now is one of those meals, smothered pork chops. Smothered pork chops is one of those things. We smothered pork chops, we smothered chicken, we smothered a lot of different things. Was one of those things that on a weeknight in the winter, my mom would come home, didn't take her a long time, and within an hour, my mom could have smothered pork chops on the table with rice and some kind of vegetable, and sometimes she would have cornbread or white bread on the table, and you put that whole thing together, baby, and you just ate it. All right? And that was a good meal. As we called it, was a good eating. Right now, waiting for it to come up to a boil. And that's how we grew up. And smothered pork chops has always been that one thing that's near and dear to my heart. It's one of those things that, you know what, provides me with comfort. It reminds me of my childhood. It's nostalgic to me. You know. So, that's why I'm making it for you tonight. I want to share that intimate, personal meal with you that I still find to be very important to me. So, one of the things you'll find when you come to my house when I'm cooking is that my house is always the one place that everybody wants to come and eat, hang out, chill, have a good time, have a few drinks, good conversation. Here they're going to get good advice because I'm going to give you an advice you may want to hear, you may not want to hear, but I'm going to give it to you. And that's just how it goes. You know, they always laugh at me because they say when I'm cooking, the one thing I can't cook without is a nice glass of white wine. You gotta have the white wine. It gets the juices flowing, especially in a nice cold night. But even in the summer, it gets me going. So it don't matter what time of the year it is. I have my wine on my eye. But everybody likes to come, sit around. We have a really good time, just laughing, shooting the breeze. You know, and I always say, food is the one thing that no matter what, good times, bad times brings us all together. You know. Many people say, oh, well, you know, my family doesn't really get together anymore. We still do family dinner in my house. They still come to my house every Sunday because they know we're going to have a big spread on the table. So you may ask, what do you serve on a Sunday? Well, on a Sunday, baby, you can have a ham with a maple brown sugar glaze. You may have some fried chicken. You may have some potato salad, some macaroni salad, some collard greens, some cornbread. You know, if I really feel like it, I might make a corn pudding. Macaroni and cheese. You know, Sunday dinner is limitless. It's a big grand buffet that you get once a week. People sit down, they eat, fall asleep, get back up, start all over again. And that's how it should be on a Sunday. And like I said, it's a big time for us to fellowship and catch up. So right now, as we look at this gravy, I'm sitting here stirring. I'm waiting for it to come to a nice boil. Once it comes into a boil, I'm then going to reduce the heat and put the pork chops in, put a cover on it, and let it simmer down for about 30 minutes. And that's what's getting ready to happen in a few minutes. Okay? So let's go ahead and get those pork chops in the gravy. Okay? And what it's important for you to know, I seasoned my pork chops earlier with a little, now you all in my way with that camera, with a little salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, little cayenne pepper, dredged them in a little flour, pan fried them real quick and browned them, set them to the side, made my roux. Just for you all, because I like you a lot, I went ahead early and made up some pork chops, just so you can see a finished product. I thought that was very important. And as you can see, we have some nice succulent pork chops that are coming out of this gravy. Okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift this pan up for y'all so y'all can see this nice, thick gravy right there. Look at that gravy. Has some onion in it. Okay? And over here, on this table, we got some string beans with some bacon in them. We got some rice. And of course, we got the main portion here, which is the pork chops. As you can see, my dog is barking at something in the backyard. He's a little crazy. But that's all right. We'll live with the dog for right now. All right? I thank you for coming to visit. Peace, love,
happiness. I look forward to see you on MasterChef when I claim the prize of MasterChef Season 3. See ya.